Okay, so it started. Yeah. Good morning, viewers. Welcome in today's Sustainable Saturday session. Today we have Mr. Rushabh Chaudhari with us. He is working with Green Yatra as a project coordinator, and by profession he is a taxonomist. So मैं आप लोगों को बताना चाहूंगा कि टैक्सोनॉमिस्ट वो लोग होते हैं जो एक्सपर्ट होते हैं प्लांट आइडेंटिफिकेशन, क्लासिफिकेशन एंड नॉमेनक्लेचर में. So they are playing very important role in a botany because plant identification is the biggest challenge, and आइडेंटिफिकेशन के लिए मोस्टली टैक्सोनॉमिस्ट लोग हेल्प करते हैं, उनको क्लासिफाई कौन से कैटेगरी में करना है, कौन से जीनस में करना है. सो दिस पीपल आर वेरी एक्सपर्ट इन दिस आइडेंटिफिकेशन, क्लासिफिकेशन एंड नॉमेनक्लेचर. So today Rushabh will deliver a session on green roofs, how we can transform our cities with this method, and what's the green roof methodology, और क्या क्या advantages इसके हो सकते हैं, क्या क्या feasibilities हो सकती है, and how we can increase the urban green cover with this method. सो आज ये सारी जानकारी हम ऋषभ से लेंगे इस टॉपिक पे. तो ऋषभ, प्लीज स्टार्ट.
Yes, sir. So first of all, I would like to thank Green Yatra for giving me this opportunity, and also want to congratulate Siddharth, sir, Niti, ma'am, and all Green Yatra team members for successfully running Sustainable Saturday for all these weeks. It's really a great platform to share views on sustainability, nature, and environment at large. Um, so when I was given this opportunity, the first thing came to my mind is the this topic, that is green roof. As I'm born and brought up in urban environment, I always faced the scarcity of urban green spaces around me. Luckily, uh, near my extended family, there was a space where I was in touch with nature, but that green space was very scant, and it is getting reduced day by day due to urbanization. So this topic is of more relevance than ever. So before beginning to understand what green roof is and how we can uh, integrate them in our urban environments, let's understand why we need them. Uh, by 2050, global population will become 10 billion. That is estimated. Uh, with increasing global population, more people means more demand for goods and services for them. For example, meeting their necessities, basic necessities such as food, clothes, shelter. Other than that, there are other necessities such as education, healthcare, entertainment, and so on and so on, luxuries. So all these demand are going to put pressure on nature by one way or another. That is for sure. Because at the end, what we are utilizing is some way or other linked with extracted from nature only, and these resources are limited, right? So if today's generation will not utilize them correctly, our future generation will not be able to enjoy them, explore those things, and add new things to it. So that is the basic definition of sustainability. That is what we are going to do is we have to be in harmony with nature. We have to uh, utilize resources, but at a pace that is going to help us to better live our life and our future generations too. So they can also enjoy nature and live their life happily. So this is the basic thing about sustainability. And uh, if we look carefully, we are surrounded by so many things, and majority of them are, we know that they are not going to be of long run, like, you know, but we have to change them slowly by slowly. And this is green roofs, which topic is I have chose. This is one step towards it. So what are green roofs? So a green roof or a living roof is a roof of a house or a building that is partially or completely covered with vegetation and a growing medium planted over a waterproofing membrane. So the philosophy is very simple. In city space, we are fighting for each and every square feet of land. We are concretizing it because we want to utilize it for residence, uh, commercial spaces, parking spaces, etc. Majority of our structures are concrete based, and this leaves no room for plants and other life forms. So, what can be done to add greenery to our urban spaces? Obviously, there are parks and other things are present, but there is a built built environment where people inhabit, and these spaces are in uh, what do you say? They are in contrast with each other. Both people are fighting for a same space. So, what is the solution for it? So, one aspect of this built environment which we have neglected till up till now is the roofs, terraces of this urban environment. Thou- of thousands and thousands of buildings, we have neglected that there is a good space which is getting sunlight, and it is empty, utilized less. They are basically urban deserts. They are getting heat up in the uh, whole day. No one is there is footfall is very less. No one is like they are neglected spaces. But can we convert them into green spaces? Yes. So this thing has been going on in Western countries predominantly, and now catching up in Eastern countries also. So is it something new? Yes, it is something new. But if we look back in history, there is a evidence that 5, 500 BC in Iraq, there are evidences that, or there is mythology of surrounding the Hanging Gardens. So these were gardens, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, and uh, what the basic thing was that this was a kind of royal palace on which there were beautiful trees and greenery, and people used to enjoy this greenery and the cool air. So it was kind of luxury. Obviously, there are no archaeological evidence found about this place, but uh, the basic point is that something like this, to have a greenery on high rise or greenery top of a terrace or roof, was uh, is a concept for as a concept is an old thing. Okay, but in today, this is not something royal, and even common man can have this. We have a technology, economics, and everything is possible. It is and is happening around the globe. So this is one of the example of green roof in Germany. uh, Germany is leading the green roof and initiative in the whole Europe. There they have rules and regulation in place where uh, builders or developers are giving tax benefits to install green roof on their rooftops or their whatever the commercial space they are building. So uh, this particular is the reason that there are many green roofs cropping up in Germany. This is another some few examples. On my left side, you can see there is a commercial space. On top of it, there is a lawn type of green space, and on my right side, this is a residential space on which there is a grassland kind of green roof present. So in the left image, you can see the grass is like where we park and gardens. Or on the right side, the grass is slightly bigger. This is like 2 feet or 3 feet tall, and it is ornamental. And even there we can see beautiful flowers present. So this is kind of uh, green spaces, green roofs are present. So we'll have a tour of what kind of green roofs are present, and then we'll get to like how it is beneficial to us and how they're built. So this is another green roof or green space in Japan. This is called a step garden. So obviously the green roof is uh, on each and every space they have built a green roof. Top of this, they have planted like approximately 35 to 37,000 saplings. Today, there are 50,000 saplings. The number have grown. The species inventory also has increased. Birds and other animals are carrying seeds, dispersing them, and it has become an whole ecosystem. Uh, the ambient temperature around the building is much cooler compared to other structures. So these are the facts uh, which have been come up after the building of the structure. Uh, it's a 2.5-acre green roof of California Academy of Science. Absolutely stunning. Uh, there are many reasons this green roof is interesting, as uh, it is not just a uh, beautiful structure, but scientists are utilizing this space for research only. Also, uh, they have they have ma- uh, they are using the plants and insects communities to understand how this green roof is acting as a native island, because surrounding of this structure there are many non-native trees and insects present, but after studying this green roof they have found out there are many native plants and insects uh, which are present. If you see, there are hill-like structure present. There are 7 hills present. On each and every hill, the topography is changed, and therefore the insect preference is also different. And this they are engaging students and scientists are engaged in this kind of research, pollination research also on this green roof. Uh, so this is one of the interesting green roofs. Next green roof is Pickering Hotel in Singapore. This is very iconic structure. Uh, this is top view. You can see a lot of medium-sized trees, palms are present. This is side view of the same building. So this is a five-star hotel. After installation of this the complete building is a built on green building model. It has got, I think, lead certification also, and complete building is a the have has been built on the idea of sustainability in mind. And they have the owners of these hotels are now saying that this is the USP of the building. So that kind of impact green structures have in built environment. So with respect to India, there are some green roofs here and there, but it has not become the major movement. Currently what is being seen that obviously there are people who love to grow plants, and they are growing trees on top of their terraces, small shrubs, uh, vegetables, fruits, and all. And you can see this kind of what they are utilizing is the pots or drums cut out, and you can see a brick wall structure is also present. So they are utilizing pots and all to create green vegetation on top of their roof. But it's not a full-fledged green roof as we have seen in other countries. So how this green roof is made? So let's compare it with the nature. In nature, there is a source rock. Uh, this rock, after withering, like due to wind, water, thunderstorm, uh, it becomes uh, granular, and then the top of this topsoil, after with biological activity, the many insects are there, earthworms are there, it becomes organic matter is present. This becomes a beautiful substratum for vegetation. Okay, so how can we replicate this model? We have to replicate this model on our green roofs. How can we do it? uh, so in green roof, if we say on top there is vegetation layer, and at the bottom there is growing medium. Now the challenge in green roofs are that we cannot use soil uh, at of its totality, because we have to reduce the weight of uh, this structure to some degree, because at the end we are there, it becomes limitation. uh, Therefore many mixtures such as cocoa peat, perlite are added to the soil to decrease its weight. uh, Below that there is a filter sheet. This filter sheet, after what it does is that it acts as a barrier for soil particles, so the soil, the complete substratum does not move down on drainage layer. At the bottom of filter layer there is the drainage layer. Drainage layer is like a tray. It has a small cups, like if you have seen the egg tray, it has projections and there are shallow pits where we keep the eggs. So this is kind of drainage layer where water accumulates. Excessive water which is runoff from the substratum is accumulated. Then there is a protection layer. This layer acts as a root barrier, so the roots do not penetrate below structure or waterproofing membrane or concrete layers, or they cannot exploit cracks in these structures. Below this protection layer we have waterproofing. There are different n number of solutions available for waterproofing, so it is placed on our concrete structure. So this is basic idea of how the green roofs are built per square feet or per square meter. There are different types of green roofs. There are extensive green roofs, semi-intensive green roofs, intensive green roofs. What is the difference? The difference is the amount of growing medium present in per square meter. For just you can see in extensive green roof, the height of the this complete substratum is 6 to 20 centimeter, and weight is 60 to 150 kilogram per meter. Whereas in intensive green roofs, the height is 15 centimeter to 1 meter and weight is 180 to 500 kg. Now, uh, as the growing medium changes, the vegetation, as you can see, also changes. If we have a shallower substratum, we can grow herbs, grasses, this kind of things. If we have as the substratum uh, becomes uh, higher in weight, we can grow shrubs and small trees too, as they afford plants to develop extensive root system. Obviously, as the we have increasing the materials, the cost is also higher on in intensive green roofs compared to extensive green roofs. So these are some basic categories of green roofs. The most important thing uh, of green roofs, or the green roof advocates talk about, is urban heat island effect. Or cities act as a concrete jungles, and these materials, the concrete, they absorb and retain heat and create a uh, it increases the temperature and create an heat island effect. The complete city becomes like a pan of hot pan. So to counter this heat island effect, if we have you can put a vegetation layer on top of uh, this built environment, or even on this roads and all. It creates a green uh, barrier which absorbs heat, and obviously plants are utilizing it for their growth. Evaporation and plant transpiration also lowers the temperature of overall city, and that's how our green roofs and green spaces tackle urban heat island effect. Next thing is stormwater runoff. So in monsoon months, for example, in Indian scenario or uh, Eastern country scenario, uh, downpour of uh, rainwater is much larger. So and the quickly as there is a heavy downpour, the all the drainage lines are getting choked up due to the heavy load. So, having more and more green roofs and green spaces afford us uh, get give us a time, because these green roofs absorb. a greater deal of water, and they act as a sponge, due to which much of water is getting absorbed by them and retained for a particular time, and is released slowly and steadily into the system, and due to which it reduces strain on the our sewage, our uh, uh, complete network. Now, green roofs are not just for uh, aesthetic sense or anything. We can also add another dimension to it, that if we carefully select the plants, native plants, they can create a beautiful biodiversity. They can act as beautiful biodiversity roofs, because that will attract interesting insects such as honeybees, birds, butterflies, solitary bees, which will pollinate the plants and multiply them and create a beautiful ecosystem. And I think it is much, it has, we are, it's our duty to reclaim these uh, spaces back to nature in some way or other. So this is a meme I came across, like we say kids don't play outside anymore, but these are the environments they have been born and brought up. So how can we blame them? So how can we tackle it? And I think green roofs are the solution, not just for children, but for diverse age group. People will and are enjoying green spaces. So, but they do not have access to them, because they are one garden is present, एक garden यहाँ पे है, तो एक garden बहुत दूर है, garden है ही नहीं आसपास, तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं. So how can we do that? I think green roofs are the solution for it. They will become places where people can come and interact with each other. These are community spaces. Uh, students students can engage in growing some few things, and they can also uh, observe nature and get connected to it. Green roofs in general increase property value, as they're aesthetically pleasing. They break monotony of urban built environment, uh, improvement in standard of living, and stress reduction. As we know, being in nature relaxes us and lowers our stress. So they are obviously more green spaces in office spaces will help uh, population at large. So we have to be careful. There are some aspects of it, as structural integrity of the building or any project has to be taken into account while creating green roofs. For example, in this case in Hong Kong, proper assessment, structural auditing of the building was not done, and this complete green roof has collapsed. There are one or two cases, not many cases, but these things do happen. And especially with respect to Indian scenario, uh, we have to be very careful, because we cannot neglect this thing. Looking forward, challenges and care. So, as I said earlier, the structural auditing is very critical in green roofing structure. What kind of building you have, what kind of commercial complex you have. Uh, does it have a capacity to have an intensive green roof, or it can accommodate only extensive green roof? We have to understand sustainability. Obviously, if we do not think about sustainability, the whole point is lost. If we are the material we are choosing for a waterproofing, the trays, can they made from sustainable material? So yes, we have seen in California Academy of Science green roof, they have the trays are made up of coconut husk and tree sap. So there are sustainable solutions available. So we have to choose them unapologetically, or there has there has to be no cost cutting in this domain, and sustainability has to be there. We have to focus on native flora, because as we have said, biodiversity is also of importance, and we cannot neglect it. Relative studies must be undertaken. So the benefits of green roofs, the temperature reduction, how they are benefiting us, the air currents, the studies for Indian scenario must be undertaken, so that we can improve our own green roofs. We can create our own uh, innovations in this area. So these are few things. So looking forward, I feel green. There are many urban spaces. I think in 1,000 buildings, there is a one or two building where is someone is interested in growing plants, which I have seen in terraces like vegetables and fruits. Out of 1,001, but we cannot rely on those nature lovers only, because if you want to tackle urban heatland effect and all these things, we have to create sustainable cities. We have to think that we are at policy level, we have to integrate green roofs, and so it acts as an incentive for builders and developers to install them in their complexes. I feel there is a lot of opportunity in green roofs creation. It is beneficial for each and every stakeholder involved. They will with respect to employment generation also, they will give uh, incentives to many people with respect to nature, with respect to aesthetic, with respect to biodiversity. Each and every domain of green roof is, I think, beneficial to us. So that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rushabh, for such a nice information. And as you said, कि green roof can help to prevent or help to reduce urban heat islands. It's a really interesting. पहले क्या होता था ना कि हर घर में एक एक दो पेड़ होते थे, कंपलसरी था. बट
Right,
नाउ डे अपार्टमेंट सिस्टम या फिर फ्लैट सिस्टम की वजह से क्या हुआ है कि ट्रीज अब घर में लग नहीं रहे, उतनी जगह नहीं है, क्योंकि बहुत सारी अब जो बड़ी सिटीज होती है लाइक मुंबई, दिल्ली, वहाँ पे स्क्वायर फीट पे, स्क्वायर इंच पे जगह जाती है. तो लोग ट्राई करते हैं कि जगह कैसे कम से कम हम इस चीज में
right,
यूटिलाइज करें. बट आई थिंक रूफ को हम जरूर यूज कर सकते हैं. ये एक साइकोलॉजिकल इफेक्ट भी देगा जो लोग घर में रहते हैं, और स्पेशली जो लेडीज लोग होते हैं. अभी इसमें जो इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट प्ले कर सकते हैं वो लेडीज हो सकता है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, क्योंकि लेडीज आर मोर इंटरेस्टेड टू गिव वाटर टू प्लांट, और उनको अच्छा लगता है कि टेरेस पे अगर कुछ फ्रूट्स वगैरह वो ग्रो कर सकते हैं, या फिर ऐसे इस
right.
प्रकार से ग्रीन रूफिंग कर सकते हैं. सो दे कैन टेक अ चार्ज फॉर दिस ग्रीन रूफिंग. थैंक यू ऋषभ, थैंक यू फॉर
Yes,
दिस थिंग. और जैसा ये भी देखा गया है कि मुंबई में भी बहुत सारी जगह पे ग्रीन रूफिंग स्टार्ट हुई है, और इंडिया में
start.
बहुत सारी जगह पे ग्रीन रूफिंग कर रहे हैं लोग. सो स्लोली स्लोली लोग मोटिवेट हो रहे हैं इस चीज को एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए और इस चीज को करने के लिए. एंड
Right,
होपफुली इन फ्यूचर हमें भी जस्ट लाइक अभी हमने देखी कि वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में अभी ये कॉमन होता जा रहा है. तो आई होप कि इन फ्यूचर इंडिया में भी ये कॉमन होगा, कॉमन प्रैक्टिस होगी, और कॉमन प्रैक्टिस के थ्रू लोग ये करेंगे. एंड अर्बन एरिया में जो अर्बन बायोडाइवर्सिटी एंड अर्बन पीपल, इनका एक प्रॉपरली ये एक साथ ग्रो हो सकेंगे, ऐसा मुझे लगता है इन फ्यूचर.
right, sir.
थैंक यू ऋषभ,
Yes.
थैंक यू फॉर द प्रेजेंटेशन.